Five touchdown passes from Brock Purdy. What a remarkable accomplishment. Something no 49er quarterback has done since Joe Montana did it in 1990 and Steve Young repeated the feat a few years later in the Super Bowl after the 1994 season. But no 49er quarterback has done it on Monday Night Football ever in the history of the franchise. And that is incredible considering some of the amazing quarterbacks who have played for the 49ers over the years. Well, Brock Purdy is making his own name in San Francisco. And now the 49ers are just 2 wins away from winning the NFC West, locking up a first-round bye and home field advantage throughout the playoffs, and uniquely this year, the Super Bowl as well. Unbelievable. Well, let's take a look at the film and figure out how on earth they did it. Well, as exciting as Brock Purdy's performance was for 49er fans, there was another quarterback playing in this game, old man Philip Rivers, who returned to the NFL remarkably after 5 years of not playing, and darn if he didn't lead the Colts right down the field and score a touchdown on the opening drive. Wow. It was a quick 9-play opening drive for the Colts, but as quick as that happened, the 49ers do it even quicker. On just the 6th play of this drive, we see the 49ers motion Brian Robinson out of the backfield. They're going to put 5 receivers in the pattern. And yeah, this is going to stress out the Colts defense a little bit, who sets up kind of right at the line to gain here on 2nd down and 8. That's part of the problem. But the real problem, in my opinion, is they've got the safety down here covering Brian Robinson Jr., and they leave the linebacker in the middle of the field way back as if he were a safety here. Well, this essentially is just going to leave one true safety back deep for the Colts, and perhaps unsurprisingly, he's got his attention turned to the 3-receiver side of the field. Well, this leaves the middle of the field completely vulnerable to the route of Demarcus Robinson. It's an easy read for Brock Purdy, who makes a beautiful throw to Demarcus Robinson. Unclear why Indianapolis chose to match up in this way. The 49ers were running some no huddle, but they did huddle prior to this particular play. In any event, San Francisco ties the game at 7 apiece, and that opening drive for the 49ers felt like a bit of a statement on offense. And that tracks. We know that the 49er defense maybe isn't perfect, but they are red hot on offense and also on special teams. The ball comes out and it is recovered by San Francisco. Wow, what a great play. The Colts are hurting in the secondary, but one area of their team that has seen some more success this season is the defensive line. So San Francisco doesn't even bother faking the handoff to Christian McCaffrey. Instead, he runs straight into the pattern. And here, Jermaine Pratt is caught completely flat-footed. Christian McCaffrey simply runs away from him. Touchdown 49ers, and lightning quick. San Francisco has taken a 14-7 lead, and this game has just barely started, and Brock Purdy already has 2 touchdown passes. After starting the season with 7 wins and 1 loss, the Indianapolis Colts have lost 5 games in a row and are in danger of missing the playoffs. But pure fans of the game can't help but enjoy and appreciate Philip Rivers trying to will his team across the finish line. And darn if he doesn't just drive the Colts right down the field and throw another touchdown pass, tying this game at 14 apiece. But this 49ers offense is relentless, and it was successful not only due to the execution of Brock Purdy, but the play calling of Kyle Shanahan as well. Here we see Purdy holding out the football. It looked like it was going to be a fake either to Kyle Juszczyk or Christian McCaffrey, with Juszczyk acting as the lead blocker. And to really sell this fake, the 49er offensive line all moves to their left. This should allow Brock Purdy to roll out to his right. But take a look at this. It's our old friend, DeForest Buckner. He has some experience playing against this offense, and he says, "I'm not buying it." And he penetrates immediately and gives chase. But Brock Purdy has a great head start, and he stays calm and keeps his eyes down the field. But on defense, Cameron Bynum takes away the route of George Kittle. So Kittle also stays calm and makes an adjustment. He just sits up in the empty space here, and this throw is going to have to be perfect, and it was. Touchdown 49ers, and what a throw from Brock Purdy. They go up 21-14, and watching at home, I said, oh my goodness, we've got a shootout on our hands. In a game like this, even just one defensive stop can be critical, and the 49ers get one here. Even in his prime, Phillip Rivers was not a very mobile quarterback, and with a speedy pass rusher like Bryce Huff setting his sights on him, Rivers has no choice but to take the underneath throw here, even though it's going to come up short on third down. In his first game back from injury, Tatum Bethune would miss this tackle, but it was a pair of players further away from the football who would still come up with the play, Malik Mustafa and Keon White. And the 49er defense did not play perfect in this game, but they did play with effort. And in a tough road environment against a very willful team, on this day, effort was enough. Football is a journey with unpredictable twists and turns, but if you approach the game with character, you'll find that balls will bounce your way as well. After the craziest 2-yard gain I have ever seen, Kyle Shanahan would continue to attack the Colts defense. But take a look here, Sky Moore slips at the line of scrimmage, and this does throw off the timing of the play. But he shows character. He gets back up and he continues running his route. And it's a good thing he did, because this play is a winner. Jawan Jennings goes deep, taking the corner and the safety with him, allowing Sky Moore to take the space the defense left behind. And this ball does end up a little bit behind Sky Moore, but it's a good thing he didn't give up on the play, because it's still a huge chunk gain for the 49ers. What do you need to throw the ball deep? Time. And keen observers will note this is only a 3-man pass rush by the Colts. They have dropped 8 into coverage. Nevertheless, it's no problem for Brock Purdy to make the right read and get the football to the open man. The drive would end with an Eddie Pinheiro field goal attempt, which he knocks through, making the score San Francisco 24, Indianapolis 14. Of course, not every ball does bounce your way. After what virtually all analysts have said was a clean pass breakup by Darrell Luter Jr., the officials throw a flag for pass interference. A bad call. The penalty does put Indianapolis in position to kick a field goal with just 11 seconds left before the end of the first half, making the score San Francisco 24, Indianapolis 17. Brock Purdy was able to get this football out to Kendrick Bourne, who goes out of bounds to stop the clock with just 3 seconds left. Kendrick Bourne hits his $500,000 contract bonus, by the way, so congratulations to Bourne. It was a nice play, but the 49ers were only able to get to midfield, so they're going to attempt a kick from the other side of the 50-yard line here. This is officially going to be a 64-yard attempt. Now, why would Shanahan do this? Well, there's only 3 seconds left. There just simply wasn't time for anything else. Nevertheless, the kick is up. It has to go a long way, and just bounces off the crossbar. Oh my goodness, that was so close. The franchise record remains 63 yards, held by David Akers. But fear not, 49er fans. San Francisco gets the ball to start the second half, where Brock Purdy would continue dealing. Well, the Colts are getting pretty tired of this, so here they put 8 men up at the line of scrimmage. Now, only 6 of them are going to rush, but that's still a big blitz. So these defensive backs are going to give these 49ers wide receivers a lot of space. A good idea considering there's only one safety back deep. Oh, wait, that's actually just the official. So yeah, these guys have no choice. They have got to play it super safe here. And Jauan Jennings is just able to run away from the corner. Brock Purdy spots him and gets him the football for a big gain. Down at the goal line, the Colts go into a zone, and here Cameron Mitchell does a good job of picking up Jauan Jennings and then carrying him through. But Jennings is headed to the outside, to the pylon, and Mitchell is facing to the inside. And as we've said on this channel for years, once you have to change directions, you've already been beat. And look where Brock Purdy puts that football, away from the defender where only his man can catch it. It's another perfect throw, and if you're keeping track, that's Brock Purdy's 4th touchdown pass of the game. This one puts the 49ers up by 2 touchdowns, 31-17. Oh, and Jennings with the ball fake. Indy would tack on a field goal, and after Brock Purdy continues slicing and dicing the Colts defense, the 49ers would do the same, making the score 34-20 as we head into the 4th quarter. Indianapolis refused to go away, and Jonathan Taylor would score, making it San Francisco 34, Indianapolis 27. It was clear the 49ers would have to continue scoring, but here they're facing a key 4th down and 1. Now, Indianapolis sold out to try to stop the 49ers from picking this up. They have got to come up with some kind of a stop on defense here, so they commit all 11 of their players up to the line of scrimmage. To make matters worse for the 49ers, George Kittle had to leave the game due to injury. How serious of an injury? Well, we don't really know. I said at the time, he didn't go into the blue tent. He didn't go to the locker room. So hopefully whatever he's dealing with, it isn't so bad. We can keep our fingers crossed. Nevertheless, it does force the 49ers to bring in Luke Farrell on this key play. And Farrell throws a nice block. Trent Williams gets to the linebacker level, and it's a simple matter for CMC to follow Kyle Juszczyk through the hole to pick up the 1st down. And because Indy has committed all their defenders up to the line of scrimmage, there's nobody left to stop CMC, and he is gone. Finally forced out of bounds after a 24-yard gain on the play. The 49ers are threatening, but this turns into a broken play. In the end zone, we see Jake Tonges heading for the sideline. Remember, George Kittle is out, so Jake Tonges is in. Brock Purdy, on the move, would throw another perfect pass. Catch, drags both toes, maintains control of the football going to the ground, and both officials had a clear view of the play. Now, how both of them missed this, I have no idea, but they inexplicably call an incomplete pass. And we see the 49ers heading up to the line. Kyle had used one of his challenges earlier in the game and said he didn't like the advice he received on that challenge. And I think that was a terrible decision not to follow through with the advice he received on this, which was to challenge an obvious touchdown catch. Kyle compounded his mistake, so the 49ers would be forced to run another play. Now, Brock Purdy quick counts it, and that did surprise Kyle Shanahan, and maybe there was a good reason for that, because this is just a pure bust by the Indianapolis Colts. It looks like Zaire Franklin is going to pick up Christian McCaffrey, but when McCaffrey goes to the pylon, he simply turns him loose, and Brock Purdy says, "Thank you very much." So Purdy throws, I guess you could say, his 5th and 6th touchdown passes on back-to-back plays here. Officially, it only counts for 5, but that is still an incredible day for Brock Purdy. The 49ers are pouring it on. The score puts the 49ers up 41-27. But before we move on here, we're going to go back. Remember week 5, San Francisco at the LA Rams on Thursday Night Football, a game nobody thought the 49ers could win. And we take a look at the rookie, Alfred Collins. We're going to zoom in here. Okay, here he is. Watch as he punches this football out. Fumble, the 49ers recover, and because of that play and that game, the 49ers would end up splitting the head-to-head matches against the Rams, and they hold the 49ers would end up splitting the head-to-head matches against the Rams, and the 49ers hold the rest of the tiebreakers. So if and when they finish with identical records, San Francisco will finish as the number 1 seed. Okay, let's go back to this game because take a look. Here's Alfred Collins, and watch as he does it again. Sack, fumble, ball comes out, and now the Colts are able to fall on it. Very fortunate for Indianapolis, but nevertheless, the Colts could not advance the ball after this, and the 49ers would have it, and all San Francisco needs to do is just kill the clock. Well, with 4 minutes to go, it has been a near-perfect day for Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy, but to err is human, and both make a mistake on this play. Number 1 with a 2-touchdown lead in the fourth quarter and only 4 minutes to go. Why is Kyle Shanahan calling a pass? Run this clock out. If you have to kick, so be it, but, take time off the clock first. I think Kyle got a little greedy here, and then the pass from Purdy is inaccurate. It's high, tipped, and intercepted by the Colts. And, well, this leaves the door open for a team that has been fighting fiercely all night. I don't have to tell you that 4 minutes is enough time to get a touchdown, a stop, and then another touchdown. So anything can happen here. As you could probably tell by a lot of the footage we've already looked at, Phillip Rivers does not have the arm strength he had several years ago. Nevertheless, he was effective with a lot of these short little passes like this, but they went to the well one too many times, and this time D. Winters is ready. And the pass is intercepted by Winters, and he is going to be gone. Nobody is going to catch him. It is a pick 6. The 49ers are going to put 48 points on the board, and this was the perfect way to end the evening. What could have been a big misstep by Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy a moment ago is now looked at as mere inaccuracies after a stellar performance by the 49ers offense. Wow, what a performance. The offense is razor sharp, and what a personal performance from Brock Purdy. Absolutely incredible. I don't ever want to borrow a line from another creator, but I did hear Bob Papa on the radio this morning say that Brock Purdy was cooking and he used every kind of seasoning known to man. Well, that is a great line. Too good not to share it with you guys. Brock Purdy, absolutely sensational. And yeah, the 49ers now could be playing at home the entire rest of the way. They could play 5 consecutive home games. Here's how it works. They've first got to beat Chicago on Sunday Night Football. Then they've got to beat the Seattle Seahawks in the last game of the season. That game is also at Levi's, so both of those games are at home. If they do that, they will earn a first-round bye, and then they will be assured of home field advantage throughout. So the divisional round of the playoffs will be at Levi's. The championship round of the playoffs will be at Levi's. And assuming they win those games, the Super Bowl will also be played at Levi's. Well, has that ever happened before? Has a team ever had 5 consecutive home games like that? Well, I went ahead and did the research, and yeah, there's been a lot of teams that have had 4 consecutive home games, but 5 is truly unique. Well, it did happen once before. Well, we've got to go all the way back to 1969 when the Miracle Mets unexpectedly made it to the World Series. And back then, the NFL wasn't as good at scheduling around baseball like they are today. They didn't have the ability to flex schedules. The grounds crews probably weren't as adept at transforming these stadiums overnight like we see today. So the NFL came up with a unique solution, which was to have the Jets play their first 5 games in a row on the road. And then they would play 7 consecutive home games after that. Wow, what an odd way to start the season. How did that work out for the Jets? Well, they went 3-2 over those first 5 road games. But then in that 7-game home stretch, they went 5-2. And they ended up with a record of 10-4 and made the playoffs. Remember, the Jets were the defending Super Bowl champions at the time. Well, how did this all end up for the Jets? In the divisional round, they lost to the Kansas City Chiefs, who went on to win the Super Bowl. Anyway, that's just a little slice of NFL history for you all there. I thought you would enjoy that. But now let's talk about what the 49ers are facing ahead. Well, this is going to be a tough contest on Sunday Night Football against the Chicago Bears. It really is. The Bears are coming off of 2 extra days of rest. They played on Saturday, whereas the 49ers played on Monday. So Chicago even though they're the road team, might be the more rested team. They are young and dynamic. They kind of fly by the seat of their pants. I expect this to be a crazy, chaotic game in San Francisco. Kyle Shanahan is going to have to use all of his experience to have the team ready to play in this game. And I have no doubt in my mind that they will. The 49ers are going to come ready to play. They know what's on the line. They know what's at stake here. And that offense is red hot right now. The team is clicking with, potentially Super Bowl aspirations in mind. So we will just have to see what kind of a game it is going to be on Sunday Night Football. But I'm excited for it either way. All right, folks, if you have taken the time to sign up for the Patreon page, I can't thank you enough. Your support allows me to take the time to do these videos right, to give you the quality that you deserve. You humble me and you honor me. It truly means a lot to me. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right, it's going to be the Chicago Bears at the San Francisco 49ers on Sunday Night Football. Both teams are 11-4. What an incredible game that is going to be. Wow, I don't know what's going to happen in that game, but we are going to be here to break down that film, and I will see you guys then.